What's going on, my friends? Cubs fan Han, and we are back for a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes top 15 list. Welcome, and if you are new to this series, I'm going to explain a little bit about how this works in a second, but I do want to introduce my guest on the show. I always like to have a guest on my top 15 videos, and today, our guest's favorite character in the Star Wars universe is Rose Tico. What's going on, Ranger?
Well, I was happy until you did that intro. You're a very bad man, Cubs. I don't like you anymore. In fact, I'm leaving the show as we speak. It's been cool to see you take off like you have. I remember when you first. I still remember the first time he says, "Hey," I'm like, "Hi. You mind doing a poll?"
Who's this guy?
Who are you?
Guy?
I was like, "Who are you?" It's like, what are you doing here?
Who are you?
What's going?
I'm here. So, others receiving votes. Let's throw that up on the screen. The way that this, the others receiving votes, every single person you see here, every character received a top 15 vote, but not enough to make that top 15 list. So, Ranger, the floor is yours. What are some of your impressions looking at this others receiving votes category?
Well, the one that stood out to me was Kylo Ren Unmasked, and
yeah,
I'm
me
just
too.
Curious because Kylo Ren Unmasked outside, you got some votes, right? I'm wondering now that they've changed it to where he is free to play, right?
Yeah.
If he's going to start shooting up, because I think he is really, really good. He makes first order team rock and roll.
So what stands out to me is Chirrut and Baze, and I've got two things to say about this. Number one, I'm rejoicing because they have never been out of the top 15 since I started doing this in July of 2017, and so I'm stoked to see them out of there because they were so cliche. I mean, it's Chirrut and Baze, they've been around for so long, but if I'm really honest with myself, I do feel like they're probably a bit underrated. They're still such a good duo, and they've got so, I mean, they are a team, they are a duo that people are going to fight Night Sisters. They have strong use in territory battles and territory wars. So they're still pretty good, but I'm pretty excited to see them out of the top 15. I'm not going to lie. All right, so let's get to the top 15 list. Now, the way that we're going to talk about the top 15, you guys know who these characters are. We don't need to tell you why these characters are getting votes. What we are going to do is tell you whether we feel like the characters are overrated, underrated, or just about right. That comparison is not necessarily going to be against our own top 15 list, but just based off of gut feel. Like, does it look like this character should be here, or should they not? And then we'll defend it. Hermit Yoda. What do you think? Overrated, underrated?
Well, I think he's underrated, and the reason I think he's so low is because people have not had a chance to play with him, just like Kylo Ren, right? What I've seen in him in Arena and other areas, he's a pretty darn good little dude. I mean, in Arena, if you run him with Admiral Akbar, CLS, OG Han, and say like Thrawn, that team's dynamite, man.
I'm going to disagree. I think Hermit Yoda's just about right, and he's actually down from 1 last month. He was at number 14 last month. He's sitting at number 15 this month. Maybe he'll raise as more people get him, but me personally, I don't feel like he's really that tough to go against on defense. We got Imperial Probe Droid. Now, Imperial Probe Droid, this is his first appearance in the top 15, only second month that he was able to be considered, he or she, or I don't know, is Imperial Probe Droid a man, a woman? An it? I don't know. I think Imperial Probe Droid is just about right as well. I really like the Imperial Probe Droid, and I'm not sure if I would be stoked about putting the Imperial Probe Droid higher, but I like seeing the droid on the top 15 list. Just because, I mean, using Imperial Probe Droid in territory wars can be really, really beneficial for you.
He's where he should be. You know, he's got uses. He has his advantages and disadvantages, unlike, you know, a Kylo Ren Unmasked or a Yoda for me.
Number 13, we got General Veers, and this is his first top 15 appearance as well. And I'm going to come right out, and I think Veers is overrated. I don't think Veers has any place on this list. Now, Veers has some really strong usability in the game. When he's utilized properly, he's really great where he fits. And that is against Night Sister teams and territory wars and territory battles. But I just personally don't see him having much use elsewhere. So I'm going to say I think he's pretty dang overrated. What do you think?
I think he deserves to be on the list. I think he's right where he should be. I think the thing is, you know, with territory wars, having a Veers, especially his Zeta. I just did his Zeta. What that does for troopers, I mean, he makes that thing go, and when it goes, it really goes. And it's not just good against Night Sisters; it can be good against other teams as well, right?
Number 12, we got the Wampa, and the Wampa is right where he was at last month. Wampa's still at 12. It's notable here also, there's a pretty good gap between Veers and the Wampa. Veers received 68 votes. The Wampa has 137. I think the Wampa's about right as well. I'm pretty high on the Wampa. I'd say the only caveat to the Wampa is I don't know if there's a really, he doesn't really fit like a glove anywhere just yet.
I agree. Wampa for me is, we're still trying to figure him out, right? I mean, we're still all trying to play around with Wampa.
We're trying to tame the beast here.
I mean, for real. I mean, feed that man some tauntauns or something. I mean, let's figure this out already. But I mean, I know a lot of people that I know and you know, they're still trying to figure out what is the best synergy for him. He's good, right?
Yeah.
And he's got value, and when he can get going, I mean, he's a terror, right? But how do you get him going? What is the best team comp and synergy to run with him? And because you're replacing him on a 5-man team with somebody, right?
Number 11 is Finn. Finn is still on this list. I think he's overrated. I'm gonna say it. His Zeta ability is one of the best in the game, and when he's utilized properly, to me he's kind of like Veers. When he's used right, he's incredible. And that Zeta ability used to be just insane. It never really performed on defense well enough to get enough attention on this list. But I just feel like with Rey Jedi training in the game now, you know, move aside Finn. Rey is the new Resistance leader. I personally don't feel like Finn has as much of a place as he used to. And
I am going to disagree with you wholeheartedly on this. I think Finn is very underrated. His Zeta ability.
Underrated. Okay. All right. We are polar opposites.
Yes, here. Because I think Finn still, as you just said, is the best Zeta in the game. Yeah, Jedi training Rey is really good. A lot of people do not have Jedi training Rey. So for me, Finn has extraordinary value because he is what will get you that in that phase 6 and territory battles. It's an automatic win, and you don't even have to have him max geared. You have Zeta Finn with the rest of the resistance. That's 6 for 6 right there.
We got Darth Nihilus, and he is down 2 spots. He has been steadily on the decline. I think he's just kind of been pushed out of these top meta teams. He doesn't have as great of a use anymore, especially since I think his last remaining function was on those General Kenobi Barris teams, and now those are a lot less common with Rey Jedi training in the game. And so I think that this drop of Nihilus makes sense, and I'm going to say he's just about right.
I agree. I mean, Nihilus, he still has some value here and there, but I mean, you know, for such a long time, he's been so amazing, right? But
I mean, he has a one-hit kill. It's hard to beat that. And he doesn't die when he does it, like the probe droid.
I mean, you can still use him. He's really good in territory wars on offense, right? You don't want to use him on defense. Don't do that. He's got usage, and he's still somewhat viable in PvP, right? Depending on the team you're running. Unfortunately, with the the meta changes and characters usage kind of change, so he still has a lot of value. But yeah, I agree with you. He has dropped off.
Number 9 is Asajj Ventress. Now I know there are a lot of people here who are beyond stoked to see Asajj show up on this list. This is her first top 15 list, and she's making it all the way into the top 10. I think people are finally realizing how good Asajj is. I feel like she's been this secret that people haven't realized just what she can do in raids, in PvP. She finally seems to have a really, really strong place in PvP. And so I really like Asajj on this list. I think she's just about right.
I agree with you. It's funny because just a few months ago, we were like, Asajj. I mean, it was like, would you even waste a Zeta on her? I was like, no, why would you? In the right team, she's amazing, right?
She has hundreds of thousands of damage. So way more than Annihilate does.
Problem is, in PvP, she just wasn't that good, right? Now you put her in with the Night Sisters, and depending on what form of the Night Sisters, there's the debate which is better, Mother Talzin lead, Asajj Ventress lead, what's the lineup you want to run?
Her Zeta's Ventress lead.
I mean, it's tough. but you wouldn't have said that a couple months ago. So
No.
I actually think she's a little underrated. If she could be a little bit higher,
Even underrated,
you know, because she does so much now, is not only for PvP but territory wars, especially dark side territory battles and the raids. I mean, she should be a little bit higher in my opinion.
Number 8 is Mother Talzin, and she's up 4 spots, so I shouldn't complain. And I don't run Night Sisters, but I fight Night Sisters. She is underrated.
Yes.
Talzin needs to be higher than this. I think Talzin is a top 5 character, 100%.
Yeah. She's a beast. I mean, that plague, only certain characters can counter it. I mean, you have Chase, or you have, you know, something that can keep the health going, or you are going to lose.
And here's a big part of why I think Talzin is so underrated. The characters to me that really make me turn my heads are the characters that I have to plan around. So I can't, I go against Team Titan right now and I just steamroll them. It's not a big deal and they're all OP characters. But when I have to face a Night Sister team, I have to shake my arena team up. I have to think about my attack strategy. I'm like sweating bullets while I'm going against this character. Number 7 is BB-8. BB-8 is, I have a tough time. I feel like BB-8 is a bit underrated as well, just because of how OP Illuminated Destiny is and what he does to make Rey what she is. Just that turn meter feed that he gives to Rey, and then as soon as Illuminated Destiny goes up, it's just pow, pow, pow. The battle can be over so fast.
I think he's underrated.
Good.
Because it's not just what he does with the raid team and PvP, right? You can move him to the other side of the resistance team, and I mean, that's an automatic whatever you want to do with him, right? The other thing too is, I mean, I've been running, just messing around with it, Jedi training raid with BB-8 in raids. I mean, I used him in rank. It's you're just gonna win.
Number 6 is Raidhun, and I'm going to say that Raidhun is a touch overrated, barely, but mainly because I think him and BB-8 should at least swap spots. I would put BB-8 above Raidhun myself, but Raidhun still just has some really, really incredible uses. He's a really great counter to Night Sisters, actually. If you can put Han in there and get a stun on Talzin right away, it helps tremendously also to be able to control some of that turn meter.
I think he's just right. I don't think that where he's at is bad at all. I mean, his damage, once you put that bayonet on him on gear 12, Lord in heaven, it's disgusting. And on top of that, I mean, so many good places you can use him in so many different ways.
Number 5 is Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he is down 1 spot. I don't know how I feel about Thrawn anymore. He doesn't have as much of a strong place in the meta right now, but he still has a lot of solid uses, and wherever you put him, he's going to make your team better, in my opinion. So I'm going to say he's just about right.
No, I think he's right where he needs to be. I could see you putting BB-8 ahead of Thrawn, though, because I just think BB-8's just an overall better character. However, Thrawn's kit is ridiculous, and it is amazing, and it's why ridiculous. He is top meta team for a reason.
Number 4 is General Kenobi. General Kenobi's just about right, in my opinion. He's the best tank in the game. There's no getting around it, in my opinion. I still do not think this is disputable, and I think that it is incredible that he has been this viable for this long with no Zeta abilities.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, if someone said they wanted him a little higher, I wouldn't argue with that either, because he is, like you said, the best tank hands down. I mean, he cleanses, his big attack he does. I mean, it's just so many good things that he does. He can, once you get him geared and you get him modded, I mean, insane protection, insane defense, insane health. I mean, and
he's working with Night Sisters now. What the heck?
I mean, yeah, because you can use him with a zombie tank. Good luck with that.
Number 3 is Rey Jedi Training. She is up 2 spots into the top 3. I love it. I love seeing the jump that Rey has made. I feel like she is... I actually would personally put Rey at number 2 in the game, so I'm going to say she is slightly overrated, or sorry, slightly underrated, but I don't have a problem with where she is either. Rey, the way that she has changed the dynamic in the arena is really notable.
I mean, you can't argue. I mean, when we first, it's funny, when we first did the review of her, I kind of gave her a C+ on her kit, you know? I went up to a B afterwards. I'm rethinking that, but the thing is, Rey has limitations. Now, Rey has to have BB-8 and R2 to function, right? Because of her leader ability, right? Requires the Zeta, but I'm fine where she's at. You know, I don't have a problem with her being top 5 or even top 3.
Number 2 is R2-D2, right where he was at last month. And I kind of like Rey in this spot a bit more, maybe, like I was just saying. But, I mean, it's hard to argue with R2-D2. I mean, the way that his kit functions, number crunch, is, in my opinion, one of the best Zetas in the game. So I think R2-D2 is right where he needs to be.
I agree with you. I mean, R2-D2's kit is still, hands down, amazing. If you think about what he does, he pretty much protects your characters, you know, because of that stealth. It's just, it's insane. You know, number crunch is amazing. It's just everything that he does, and he fits in so many teams.
All right, number 1, Ranger. Who's our number 1?
Of course. Is there any shock? It's Commander Luke Skywalker. CLS.
What, it's not Cup?
No, I'm surprised.
I was holding hope this whole time that it would be.
Well, I had some money on Ugnaught, you know, so.
What can we say about Commander Luke? I mean, can we dispute this? I can't dispute this. Do I want Commander Luke to be rated lower? Yes. Can I put him lower? No. I personally can't. He's right where he needs to be. He's got incredible DPS. He can heal himself like a madman. He makes raid teams crazy. He makes every team he's on in PvP crazy. He's insanely difficult to go against on defense. Try going against Commander Luke Skywalker in territory wars against teams that aren't meta, and you're going to get completely wrecked. I actually had in my last territory war, I was going against just Commander Luke Skywalker with 5 characters who were undergeared, and I got slaughtered.
You can't argue. I mean, he's just so good. He makes everyone around. I mean, there's so many combinations you can use him in, and he doesn't even have to be the leader. You can use him on a team, and he still does so much that it's just insane.
All right, guys, that wraps up the top 15 list for the month of January. What did the pollsters get wrong? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments below. What did they get right? What did Ranger and I get wrong and right? Please let us know in the comments. Ranger, thank you so much for joining me for this. We'll have to do this again sometime, buddy.
I'm down to do it every time, man. You got to come back and do some of our streams. I know you're always busy, but we'll get you back there one day.
You know I'm there whenever I can be. All right, guys, thanks again for joining us. If you like the list, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. And as always, my brothers, don't forget.
My dead body. Sorry about the mess.